Pause, breathe in, breathe out. When the mind is silent, the truth becomes loud. Each day we walk through a world full of sound, cars passing, people talking, messages arriving, but beneath the noise there is another voice. A voice without language, without form, the voice of the universe. Many ask, how can I hear it? You do not hear it with your ears. You listen with stillness. You understand with presence. True listening is an art that very few truly master. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and endless streams of information, we have grown accustomed to hearing everything and understanding very little. Our ears may be open, but our minds are rarely still. We confuse hearing with listening, noise with knowledge, and reaction with understanding. But the universe, in its infinite subtlety, does not shout to be heard. It whispers, and to catch that whisper, the mind must be quiet, the heart must be open, and the spirit must be present. When we say the universe is always speaking, it does not mean it communicates in human language. It speaks in patterns, in moments of synchronicity, in the unfolding of events, in the rise and fall of the breath. But when our minds are clouded with thoughts of fear, ambition, regret, desire, we are unable to recognize these messages. The noise inside becomes louder than the wisdom around us. Thoughts become like ripples on water, distorting the reflection of truth. Only when the water becomes still does it mirror the sky clearly. In the same way, only when the mind is still can it reflect the guidance of the universe. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of awareness. In silence, the internal chatter fades, the constant commentary ceases, and what remains is spaciousness of mind, where clarity can arise. It is in this space that true listening becomes possible. You begin to notice things you never noticed before, the tone behind someone's words, the emotion behind a passing glance, the wisdom behind a moment of stillness. You begin to feel more than just your own thoughts. You start to feel the rhythm of life itself. To listen deeply is to surrender control. It is to admit that we don't have all the answers, and that sometimes answers are not given. They are revealed in time through patience and awareness. The seed does not rush to become a tree. It listens to the soil, the sun, the water. It listens by being still, by allowing nature to do its work. In the same way, we too must learn to be receptive, not only to people, but to the very flow of life. There is a reason why wisdom traditions across the world emphasize silence, breath, and presence. It is not to escape the world, but to hear it more clearly. When you sit quietly, not trying to fix anything, not trying to get anywhere, a strange peace arises. In that peace, you begin to perceive life differently. You realize that the universe has been guiding you all along, not through grand signs, but through gentle nudges, quiet insights, and simple truths. But it is only in stillness that these become visible. To truly listen, then, is not something you do, it is something you become. A quiet mind, a calm heart, and an open presence become the doorway through which the universe speaks. And when you listen in this way, you realize the answers were never far. They were always there, waiting for you to become silent enough to hear. Letting go is often misunderstood as a loss or a weakness. In truth, it is one of the greatest forms of strength. When we hold tightly to our attachments, our opinions, our fears, our past experiences, we close ourselves off from new understanding. Just as a cup that is already full cannot receive fresh water, a mind that is cluttered with judgments, assumptions, and emotional noise cannot absorb clarity or wisdom. The universe may pour knowledge upon us constantly, but unless we have the space within to hold it, it simply overflows and is lost. The act of letting go is not about forgetting or ignoring. It is about making peace with what has been and releasing the need to control what will be. It means loosening our grip on the ideas that define us, our successes, our failures, even our identities, so that we can be open to what life is trying to teach us now. Every moment is new, but if we carry the weight of yesterday, we walk into today burdened and blind. True insight can only enter when there is emptiness within, a readiness, a space for it to take root. We often think that holding on gives us power, the power to protect ourselves, to define who we are, to ensure a certain outcome. But the reality is, the more tightly we cling, the more we suffer. Attachment creates fear, fear of change, fear of loss, fear of the unknown, and in that fear, our vision narrows, our hearts harden, and our minds become restless. Wisdom does not live in a restless mind. It dwells in the stillness that follows surrender. Letting go also means releasing the need to be right. So many of us listen not to understand, but to defend. We hold on to our beliefs as if they were shields, convinced that certainty will protect us. But wisdom often comes dressed in contradiction. It whispers truths that challenge our comfort, that invite us to see from a different angle. If we cannot release the need to always be correct, we will never be free enough to grow. In the practice of letting go, we are not abandoning life. We are stepping more fully into it. When we let go of judgment, we begin to see people as they are, not as we assume them to be. When we let go of distraction, we begin to notice the depth in each moment. And when we let go of resistance, we begin to flow with life rather than against it. It is in that flow that wisdom naturally arises. A tree does not hold onto its leaves in winter. It lets go, trusting that in time new leaves will come. The river does not resist the shape of the land. It flows with it, carving its own path through patience and softness. So too must we trust the process of life. Letting go is not an end, but a beginning. It is the space between what was and what could be, the sacred emptiness where wisdom finds its voice. Nature does not speak in words, yet it holds the deepest truth. It teaches not through force, but through quiet consistency. Every leaf, every breeze, every sunrise contains a message, if we are willing to observe. In the presence of nature, we are invited to remember what the modern world has caused us to forget, that life is not a race to be won, but a rhythm to be followed. Nature is not separate from us. It is a mirror reflecting the essence of our own being. And when we pay attention with presence, we begin to see that its wisdom is timeless, effortless, and always available. Consider the falling leaf. It does not resist the end of its cycle. When its time has come, it lets go of the branch, dances gently through the air, and returns to the earth to nourish new life. There is no fear in this process, no attachment, only surrender. The leaf teaches us about impermanence, about the natural conclusion of all things, and about the beauty that exists even in letting go. We too must learn that not everything is meant to stay, and that by releasing what has served its purpose, we make space for new beginnings. Look at the river as it moves over rocks and around bends. It does not struggle. It does not argue with obstacles. Instead, it adapts, flows, carves its own path through patience and persistence. It teaches us flexibility, resilience, and trust. In life, we encounter many obstacles, but like the river, we must learn to move with grace, not resistance. There is power in softness, and great strength in yielding when needed. On a quiet morning, when the world is still and the light slowly touches the earth, there is a sacredness that words cannot describe. It is in this silence that we feel the presence of life most deeply, not in the noise, but in the stillness. The morning does not rush to become day, It unfolds slowly, without force. This teaches us the value of presence, of allowing things to happen in their own time. It reminds us that there is no need to rush through life, for everything arrives when it is meant to. Even the tree, standing tall through seasons of sun and storm, offers a lesson. It remains rooted, yet it reaches upward. It stands firm, yet allows the wind to pass through its branches. It does not chase after growth. It simply grows, one moment at a time, grounded in its place, aligned with the rhythm of the earth. It shows us that stability and growth are not opposites, but partners. To grow, we must first be grounded. Nature teaches by example. It does not shout, yet its voice is always clear to those who are still enough to listen. In every natural moment, the universe speaks of balance, patience, surrender, and trust. These are not just lessons for the forest or the river. They are lessons for us, but they are not found in textbooks or theories. They are discovered in the quiet attention we bring to the world around us. To walk in nature is to walk through a living scripture, one written not in ink, but in presence. Awareness is not something we occasionally switch on like a light. It is the very state of being that determines how deeply we experience life. It is the silent observer within us, the part that watches without judging, listens without interrupting, and feels without grasping. When we cultivate awareness, we move beyond reacting to life and begin responding to it. This shift is not small. It is a profound realignment. Awareness connects us to the universe because it brings us into harmony with what is actually happening, not what we wish or fear to be happening. It draws us out of the mind's illusions and into the present, where life truly unfolds. When we are unaware, we are disconnected. We move through life in a kind of sleep, repeating patterns, missing signs, and feeling out of place. We become entangled in memories of the past or anxieties about the future, and in doing so, we miss the only place where life can be truly lived, here and now. But awareness brings us back. It grounds us. It allows us to see clearly, to feel fully, and to act with wisdom rather than impulse. To listen with awareness is to tune in not just with the ears, but with the entire being. It is to feel the energy in a room, to notice the emotion behind someone's words, to sense the subtle messages in a situation. The universe speaks in many ways, through events, through people, through intuition. But without awareness, we are deaf to these messages. We might search for signs, yet overlook the ones already in front of us. When we are truly aware, we realize the universe has never stopped communicating. It is always speaking. We have simply not been present enough to notice. Awareness also brings us into rhythm with life. Just as a dancer listens to music before moving, we must listen to the rhythm of the world before acting. Life has a flow. There are moments to act and moments to wait, moments to speak and moments to remain silent, moments to hold on and moments to let go. Awareness helps us feel these natural shifts, like a tree sensing the change of seasons. When we live with awareness, we no longer force things. We move in alignment with what is, rather than resisting or rushing it. This alignment brings peace. It dissolves the constant tension of control, the restlessness of wanting, the confusion of doubt. In its place comes clarity, and from clarity, compassion arises for ourselves and for others. We begin to see that everything is connected, that our choices ripple outward, and that the wisdom we seek is already within us, waiting to be uncovered through conscious presence. Awareness, then, is not a task on a checklist. It is a way of walking through the world. It is living with open eyes, a quiet mind, and a receptive heart. When we live in this way, we do not need to chase purpose or meaning. We become part of the larger unfolding, guided not by force, but by the quiet intelligence of the universe itself. Pause, breathe. The universe has always been speaking, through silence, through nature, through change, through the very breath moving in and out of your body. it speaks. But to hear it, we must return to simplicity. We must quiet the noise, empty the cup, open our senses, and become deeply aware of the present moment. You do not need to travel far to find wisdom. You do not need to wait for signs in the sky. Everything you seek is already here, within the stillness of your mind, within the softness of your attention, within the ordinary moments you often overlook. So I invite you, slow down, let go, listen. When you wake in the morning, do not reach first for your phone. Reach for your breath. When you walk outside, do not rush past the world. Walk as though the earth itself is teaching you with each step. When you speak to another, do not only hear their words. Listen with presence, with compassion, with stillness. Make listening your way of living. Let your awareness be your guide. The universe does not need to shout. It is already speaking. Now it is your turn to truly listen, Bo.